Statistical mathematical fact
never has been down.
has broken every single record. There is no asset that has come close.
It's the only thing in the industry that was not touched, that was not hacked, and it never fails doing what it promised in 2009. It's never
What's
failed.
the best performing asset the world has ever seen? And you'll find out that it's Bitcoin.
All right, good traders, Bitcoiners, welcome. Another surprise impromptu live session here with Oliver Velez, and I'm going to take a little bit of time to talk about one of my favorite topics, Bitcoin today, and its connection to wealth. I have a very, very interesting topic I just want to share with you. I am going to try to keep this more brief, so it won't be like many of my other live sessions, which tend to run, closer to the 2-hour mark. This is going to be a little bit more brief, and maybe I'll even have some time to take some of your questions. So guys, come on in. I know it's a surprise. I did not give you any advance warning regarding this talk. It's something that I just decided to do off the cuff here, but it's such a fascinating topic. I don't want you to miss it. I'm unable to go live on X, or formerly known as Twitter. My account's under review, and after broadcasting the fact that I'm going to be live here on YouTube, that review might be permanent, so I don't really care. Anyway, guys, welcome. I appreciate every single one of you who can basically pop in on these live sessions, even when I don't give you much notice. I appreciate your availability. I appreciate your interest, and just simply wanting to hear what I, little old me, have to say about Bitcoin, the topic of wealth and trading, and so forth and so on. So come on in, guys, make yourselves comfortable, grab the beverage of your choice. Always saying, grab something to write with, take some notes. If you have an aha moment, jot that down. If something makes you ponder a little bit more than normal, jot that down. Note taking is very powerful. There's power in the pen, guys. There's power in the pen. So let's go. All right. Guys, I see Korea is in the house here. Where else are we from? India is in the house. Wow. India's here. Korea's here. Let me see where you're from while we wait for just a few additional people to sort of log in here. So India is in the house. Korea is in the house. Who else is in the house here? Good morning, good afternoon. Holland is here. Malaysia. All right, fantastic. Wow. Okay. New York City. Fantastic. My old stomping grounds, where I was born. All right, UK is in the house. Whew. All right, we're going by fast. UK is in the house. Spain's in the house. Detroit, Michigan's in the house. Canada's in the house. California's in the house. Yes. International audience, guys. Welcome to everyone. All right, welcome to everyone. So look, I spend a great deal of time talking about trading as it relates to its possibility to generate high levels of income, which ultimately can generate into wealth accumulation. I spend a great deal of time on that topic. I have spent or dedicated a big portion of my life, people, to helping individuals, training individuals to do what I did with my life. I started in the financial markets very early. I was fortunate enough to do that all the way back in the early 1980s. Started my career on Wall Street in 1986. By the time 1994 came around, I got large enough, big enough, successful enough to branch off and start my own Wall Street firm. I managed to grow the second largest direct access brokerage firm in the United States. I managed to work on projects, trade some of the first trading oriented platforms that sold for hundreds of millions of dollars. I've been a best-selling international author on the topic of trading markets for a living. I continue to be one of the most sought after speakers on the topic of trading markets for a living all over the world every single year. I have over 13,000 traders across 95 different countries, a portion of which I actually personally fund myself. I probably taught more people on Wall Street and even on Main Street than almost all of your key professional trading experts combined. I'm not really talking about your YouTube people, really talking about the professional space. And I tell you all of that. To say this. I've been doing this for the past 30 plus years. I've been trading for the past 43 years. 37 of those years has been professional trading in a professional capacity. And 30 years, slightly more than 30 years, I've dedicated the majority of my time to training others to do what I was able to accomplish with my life, to generate a constant flow of a high level of income, largely on a daily basis, which ultimately gave me the ability to take portions of that accumulated income and go for bigger gains in long-term wealth-oriented holds. And then that period was massively successful, which led me into what I believe is the ultimate wealth-oriented asset of Bitcoin. All right. So today, I do everything for Bitcoin. I want everyone to be aware of that. I used to do everything for dollars. Today, Bitcoin has replaced the dollar for me. And so I trade for Bitcoin. I do everything in my life for Bitcoin. Why? Bitcoin is the money for me now. The US dollar used to be the money for me. Now, Bitcoin is the money for me. So if I have dollars, those dollars, if I don't need those dollars to buy eggs, to put gas in the car, to whatever the daily little insignificant things, I use the crap money for those things. And whatever I have, whatever dollars I have over and beyond what I need for the insignificant things for survival on a day-to-day basis, that goes into Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is my ultimate vault. It is my storage bin. It is my wealth, and it stays there. So I do deal in two forms of money. My trading doesn't generate Bitcoin directly. My trading generates fiat currency. It generates dollars, but those dollars are split into two parts. What I need to live day to day, all right? And then the other part that I don't need goes into Bitcoin directly. That's my vault. That's my money. That's wealth. And a lot of people ask me, say, Oliver, do you feel that I should, should I be a short-term oriented trader, or should I be a longer-term trader and go for wealth? That is really the inappropriate question. You need to be a full-rounded person. You need a stream. You need to go out and mine dollars or mine something. That's your income stream. You also need to build wealth. You don't choose between income and wealth. You need both of them combined. All right. And so trading has been my number one vehicle to do that. Doesn't have to be your vehicle. Your vehicle just could having a career or a job or what have you. Running a business is the way you mine fiat. But today, in my opinion, one of the only ways to achieve true wealth in the future is if you're going to take the portion of fiat that you mine, a portion of the US dollar, the dollars that you mine through your activity, and you sock away in Bitcoin. I don't believe that going forward, doing this in a big way with equities is going to keep you ahead. I don't believe going forward that taking a portion of this income that you mine and socking it away for future wealth in real estate, I don't think that's going to work like it's worked in the past. I don't think equities are going to work like they worked in the past. I'm not going to say they're not going to work at all, All I'm saying is that there's a new king to wealth accumulation, and that king is here to stay for a very long time, and that new king is called Bitcoin. Now, with this all being said, now that you know my approach, I want to explain to you why I believe that most people don't realize that the game of wealth today, it wasn't always this way, but the game of wealth today, people, is a lie. And I am going to reveal the dirty secret behind this carrot approach that is thrown in front of us to go out there and acquire wealth and get ahead. That's all a lie today. Wealth, even for some who believe that they've achieved wealth, they're really not wealthy at the level they think they are. Some are not wealthy at all, even though on paper it might seem like they're wealthy. So I want to reveal the great lie behind the story of wealth today, okay? And I want to talk about the three things that are the three great forces that actually prevent wealth from happening today, like it used to happen in the past. I'm also going to finally tie in how Bitcoin fixes this, saves you, or delivers you out of these three forces, and brings the possibility of wealth to you like nothing else can. All right. So let me begin. The first thing, why do I tell you that wealth today is largely a fugazi, fake? It's a lie. Because of the items that have been available to us to try to accumulate wealth. What are the items? Let's cover the items, okay? So there was a time when if you managed, there was a time in my grandmother, my grandfather's era, the way to become wealthy, to separate yourself above all the rest, was through education. My grandfather and my grandmother, their era was all about education. It was all about getting a college degree, because at that time, for my grandmother and grandfather, if you got a college degree, it was automatic wealth for you. You could elevate your life beyond all the masses and sort of occupy the top of the pinnacle. Education was the vehicle to wealth in my grandmother and my grandfather's era. Now, in the next generation, my mother and father, it was no longer education. You could not be guaranteed wealth or to be at the top of the pyramid in my mother and my grandfather and my mother and my father's era. Education fell by the wayside. It was still important in their era, but it didn't guarantee you that elite class. It gave you some better odds, but it wasn't a guarantee like it was in my grandmother and my grandfather's era. What became the almost guarantee in my mother and my father's era was home ownership. You see, anyone during my mother and my father's generation, if they managed to buy a home in the 1960s, if they managed to buy a home in the early 1970s, by late 80s, 90s, and certainly the 2000s, they were all wealthy. It was the number one, the closest thing to a guarantee of generating wealth over a few decades. First, for my grandparents, it was education, a college degree. For my mother and father, it was home ownership. Home ownership almost guaranteed, if you held on, you would be considered wealthy a few decades later. Okay? Now come to my generation. I'm the generation that follows my mother and my parents. Homeownership was okay, but it didn't guarantee wealth like it did for my parents. It still gave you some good odds, but it was no longer at the guarantee level. Something else took over the guarantee level in my era. And that was, well, what do I do for a living? What made me? What acquired my wealth? Financial markets. The financial world, the equity market, the stock market in particular became the number one guaranteed way to wealth. There are more people wealthy today because of the stock market, because they put money into their 401k plans that DCA'd into the S&P 500 over the last 20 to 30 years. They're wealthy today. So, equity markets in particular, the stock market took over the real estate. Real estate took over education. Do you understand? And before education, my great grandparents was a unionized job set you apart from everything. So first was a job, just having a freaking job, and a guaranteed one locked in by a good union. You were guaranteed to live above the vast majority of masses. That was considered wealth back then. So a job first, preferably one that was supported and protected by a union. Then it was, then having a job, a unionized job, was no longer cut it as a guarantee to live above everyone else. It became you needed to actually go to a level above the unionized job with a college degree. And with a college degree, you were guaranteed to be elevated beyond the level of the past. And then after a college degree became more prevalent, it became something else. It became homeownership. And then after homeownership, all right, after the fat part of the gains with homeownership occurred, and everybody's got a home now, it became something else. It became equity investing. It became investing in the stock market, index investing, using the S&P as your index. And that became the guarantee. That's my generation. And I'm almost 60 years old. So what about the next generation after me? My children and their children. What's the next thing? It is never the same thing. Do you understand? Every generation has their new thing. And I'm telling you, it is not real estate. That's 2 generations ago. They don't die right away. They just on decline. It's not equities. It's not the stock market anymore. It's not getting a college degree anymore. It's not having a unionized job anymore. What is it? It's Bitcoin. It's the new digital frontier. This is the first generation that is digitally native. Do you understand? I wasn't digitally, I was born before the ubiquitous nature of the personal computer, the internet, and so forth and so on. I was born before that. But my kids were born natively in the digital world. And because they were born completely in a different world from me, their item for future wealth is not in my world. It's in their world. The world that they grew up, the only thing they knew was the internet. The only thing they knew was the personal computer. And my younger ones, the only thing they knew were smartphones and iPads and so forth and so on. So the item of wealth for them is digitally native in their world, and that's Bitcoin. Now, let me tie this in as to how I want to communicate to you that wealth is largely fake today because of the following. Today, if you have a home that you bought for $500,000, right? You invested in a home that cost $500,000. This home today is worth 1.5 million, throwing you into the millionaire camp as far as an asset is concerned. The house has more than doubled. It's doubled twice. It's gone from 500,000 to being worth 1.5 million. Okay? This makes that person feel wealthy. Do you understand? It makes them feel wealthy or wealthier. Okay? We know today $1.5 million is not a lot, but let's sidestep that for the moment. All right? It does make the homeowner feel wealthy. But is the homeowner wealthier? I'm here to tell you absolutely not. Absolutely not. Despite the fact that the value of that home, that asset, storing the value of your investment has gone up from a numbers perspective, the individual has not gotten wealthier. Why? Because, listen to me carefully, people, and tell me if you understand what I'm about to say. I'm going to pause and wait. The reason why that person's not wealthier, even though they think they are, is because everything else in the world has gone up by the same amount or more. They're the freaking same. It's all a farce on paper. If your home has gone up by 400% and everything else has gone up by if your home has gone up by 200% and everything else has gone up by 200%, how are you wealthy? How has anything freaking changed? Do you understand what I'm saying, guys? Do you see the game being played? Do you see the numbers game being played? How it's just all based on a feel satisfied and not revolting against all this bullshit that's happening? Do you understand this? Let me know. Razi says yes. Tell me yes. Somebody tell me if they understand. I just want to see a few of you. If your so-called wealth has gone up by 100%, but everything else has gone up by 100%, you're in the same freaking place. You haven't moved. That's not what wealth is about. Wealth is about gaining. It is not about staying the same. All right? All right, awesome. Yes, understand. Yes, understand. Good. Agreed. Boom. Yes, absolutely. Good. Clear as water. I love it. Awesome. Okay. So I'm not finished with this. So in my book, staying the same with your purchasing power. Oh, wow, my stocks have gone up 100%, but everything else in the world has gone up 200%. You're actually poorer. All right? Milk is up more than the stock market. Do you understand that milk is, if you could buy, if milk was a stock, you'd be killing it. You understand what I'm saying? If a bottle of water was a stock, you'd be killing the stock market. You'd be killing almost everything out there. If bread was a stock, if milk was a stock, do you understand that almost everything else is going up more than the things that make you feel wealthy? It's all a freaking farce. The guy who says, man, damn, I scored huge on my home. I bought it at 500. I'm selling this at 1.5 million. Yeah, but now where are you going to go? Because every other home has gone up too. So if every other home went up the same amount, you didn't move at all. If every other $500,000 home went up to 1.5 million, you're exactly the same place. You understand? You're exactly the same place. If you got to go now buy another home for yourself, you haven't gained anything. Now it'd be different if your house went up 1.5 million and no one else's house went up 1.5 million and every other house is still 500,000. Now that's wealth accumulation. You beat the system. You're the only house that went up. No other house went up. So now you sell yours and get another one cheaper. That's wealth accumulation. But if every other freaking thing has gone up at the same pace or more, dude, you're falling behind. That is not wealth. And this is why people feel like, I don't get it. Why do I feel poorer? But on paper it says I'm doing good, but I don't feel like I'm doing good. Like, I'm rich on paper, but I don't feel rich. I'm still struggling. But I guess I'm just ungrateful because on paper it says I'm okay. But why don't I feel okay? Why do I feel like my grandparents live better than me? But on paper it says I'm better than my grandparents. I don't freaking get this. And there's millions of people in this plight. They don't get it. Like, I have a bigger salary than everyone else ever in my family, and I feel like I live worse. I'm poorer. I don't, something's wrong because it's all a lie. Crazy, right? That's why so many people in northeastern states sell their houses and buy cheap in the South. That's right. So they have to, in a way, downgrade Bill to create the real wealth. You understand? Because if they stayed there, if they sold in the Northeast and bought back in the Northeast, they'd realize you haven't gained at all. In fact, you probably lost, because when you start to add all the things, the costs that were associated with your waiting for that increase. Time is a cost, taxes are a cost, and so forth and so on. Fees and maintenance and repairs and the lawyers and lawn care people, and so they realized, like, shoot, if I keep it even, I did not get ahead. So now you got to play tricks of the trade to try to get ahead. Tricks of the trade. Let me go to where poorer people live. I was where wealthier people live. Let me go now. And that's the only way I can do it. I got to go to where poorer people live to make this count for myself. It's all freaking fake. Wasn't fake in the past as much as it is today, but wealth is fake. I told my wealth traders early in January of this year, I said, look, by the time, in 2022, I'm sorry, all the way back in 2022 into 2023, even the beginning of 2024, I said, listen, markets will be at or near all-time highs by the US presidential election. Where are we? Near all-time new highs. Markets will, because the election needs, for the incumbent, it needs people to feel wealthy. And the number one way in this generation, remember, not the next are my children, but the number one way for the biggest part of the voting population is still the stock market. So you gotta have that shit near at or near all-time new highs during an election year, especially as you get to the election. That's the way you create the feeling of wealth. But the stock market has gone up less than most things in life. And we haven't even got to taxes yet. So it's all a feeling. It's all a fugazi. It's all fake paper. It's not real. It's a mirage, unless you know how to really play the game and get free from it. Now, is this another live? What do you mean, is this another live or repetition from yesterday? Alejandro, what are you talking about, dude? We're live. We're live. All right. So, all right, here, let me see. Just shared this live to one Uber rider. Awesome, fantastic. All right, so check this out. Guys, this is freaking the amazing part, right? Let me fix this light a little bit here, guys. So I want to show you the I want to reveal to you the three things that stop wealth from happening. They're three thieves, if you will. Do you understand? These are the three things that have been put in place to steal your ability to actually get wealthy without messing up the mirage that makes you feel wealthy. You see, you have to be left feeling wealthy, but in truth, when you lift the curtain and you see Oz for what he is, you realize there's no wealth at all. That wealth is virtually impossible to accumulate, not impossible, virtually. For the majority of people, wealth is not possible to accumulate because of these three things. And I want you to write them down. All right. The three things that take wealth away or take the possibility of wealth away from most of you are this. Number one, write it down. Monetary debasement. All right. Money debasement. That's a fancy word for printing money. Every single time you're working for a dollar, you're working for a dollar. You're giving your life and everything for a dollar. You're mining dollars. All right. But this dollar that some artist, that the government hired an artist to paint the number one on it. Someone paint the number one, $1. And then someone put a zero, painted another one, put a zero next to the one, made the numbers very artful and beautiful. This one's a 10. And the artist puts another zero behind the zero, and this one's a 100. So these pieces of paper are what you're working for, okay? Pieces of paper where an artist drew numbers on it, right? Yet, understand that the paper with the one on it in 1913, my great-grandparents, they had a dollar, they had a one on their dollar, and it was different from the one I work for. So we both have a dollar. My great-grandparents had a dollar bill. They worked for a dollar bill. I work for a dollar bill. The number is the same, but the value's not the same. That's theft. That's theft. Do you understand? Like, so the dollar for my grandparents bought a week's worth of groceries, let's say. My dollar doesn't even buy a bottle of water. same number, value different. So the power of the number one was taken from me. My grandparents had the power of a one greater than the power of my $1. And every generation gets robbed from because the number one on their dollar is less than the number one on their parents' dollar. This is stealing from the next generation. The one is the same. Do you understand this? They don't change, the artist doesn't change the number, but the power behind the number changes. So the real trick is, let's keep the number the same, but let's rip the value away slowly so no one notices. And so you're fighting to stay above ground, but the dollars you're standing on are being, the value is being, it's like someone stuck a pin in the value, and as the value is shrinking, you're still trying to stay above ground, but the value of what you're standing on keeps going down. So you have to keep jumping higher, right? Higher to stay at the same level because what you're standing on is going down. So as it's going down, in order to stay higher, you have to keep jumping higher. And at a certain point, you can't physically jump high enough to stay even anymore. I mean, you're not 6'7", you're not 7 feet, you're not a freaking professional basketball player. So at a sort of certain point, you just can't jump high enough to stay even because what you're standing on is losing value, losing air every single moment of your life, making you have to jump, leap higher your whole life to stay ahead. Now, let me show you this. I will show you this. This is a slide. This is 2 images from BlackRock's PDF, guys. This is BlackRock, the largest money manager in the world, is traveling all over the world, having private meetings with their best clients, showing them these 2 slides. The left slide on the left is showing them, reminding them that the value of the dollar that you are working for is doing this. It is dropping, which means that if you do nothing, you become poor. You are forced to work for this. You have no choice simply because you were born in the United States. You have no choice but to go out into the world, give your life, your value, your time, your energy, your effort, your education, your information, your talent. You have to give that away to the country. And in exchange for that, you can only receive that. There is no choice. You can't receive anything else. Your country won't allow it. You can't say, well, give me, I want Japanese yen. No, you're gonna get dollars. You're an American, you're here. This is our plantation. We run the plantation. We make the money. We make the coupon you work for. You work for my coupon, and everyone has to chip in. Everyone has to work. Just like a slave, you're born here, and everybody has to work here, and you work for our money. But we're gonna make sure that every single year, the coupon that we have artists draw numbers on, that every single year it's worth less. Why? Because we need you working harder every year. So if $1 buys you a week's worth of groceries this year, it's gonna buy you 0.75 groceries. It's gonna buy you 3/4 of a week's worth of groceries next year. So you'll have to work a quarter, 25% more for me next year. And then the next year, that $1 is going to buy you half a week of groceries. It's going to say the same number, $1, but it's going to buy you now half a week. So now you got to work twice as hard for the same milk, eggs, meat, whatever. And then the next year, it's going to be worth it's going to buy you a quarter of a week's worth of groceries, which means that now you have to work 3 times as hard. And so every single year of your life, the number will never change on your dollar, but the amount of work you have to give me will increase until the day you die. You will work harder for the same number until you die, and it will never stop. Look at the chart. You think I'm lying that it's going to stop? It hasn't stopped since 1913. We're all the way at 2024. That is not the picture of success, guys. That is not the picture of wealth, and that is not what you should be giving your life to. Remember when I told you when I first started this conversation, I no longer work for dollars, I work for Bitcoin, because Bitcoin frees you from this, which is what BlackRock is saying in the second slide on the right-hand side. Do you see it? You see the right-hand side? It is telling you, let me get myself out of the way again. It is telling you on the right-hand side, people, all right? It is telling you that the world has regarded U.S. treasuries and gold as the premier monies throughout recent history. There's nothing more secure than a U.S. treasury, a bond, a U.S. bond. It was guaranteed by the full faith of the United States, backed by a lot of guns, its military, and so forth and so on, and its ability to steal from its citizens through taxes and monetary debasement. Okay? So for most of the world, you stored your wealth in U.S. treasuries. If you were another country, you stored your excess in U.S. treasuries. There was nothing more certain. Another option you had as a nation state or country or a big giant institution is to also hold some of your wealth in gold. Okay? So these were the 2 primary forms of base layer value money. So so the wealthy always understood, I can't hold dollars because look at the picture on the left. So whatever dollars I don't need to live today, I need to put in U.S. treasuries or gold, and it later became the U.S. stock market too. All right? But base layer money, base layer value has in recent history been U.S. treasuries and gold. But now what BlackRock is saying is that there's something better, something newer, something better that frees us from these other 2. That's better. Now, if you go down the list, U.S. treasuries, count the green boxes. So U.S. treasuries has 3 green boxes. Gold has 2 green boxes. Bitcoin has 1, 2, 3, 4 green boxes. What's their message to the world? Stop putting this declining thing on the left into U.S. treasuries and put it into Bitcoin. Stop putting this declining thing on the left into gold, put it into Bitcoin. That's their message. It's clear as day right here. It's the better choice. So I told you, I started off this conversation saying that's what I do. We have no choice but to mine the thing on the left that's going down, right? Take a look at it again. I have to mine the thing on the left going down. I have no choice. So I can't choose the money that I have to go out and work for. But now I have a choice, an additional choice of what to flip it into. Some people flip it into US treasuries. Some people flip it into gold. I flipped it into gold and the stock market, which you don't see here. And that worked for a while. But now things are rising or being debated. The dollar is being debased at such a rapid pace that it no longer does real estate, the stock market, treasury bonds, or even gold work. So let me give an example of this. If look at the picture on the left, okay, look at the picture on the left, the dollar. If the dollar gets debased by 12%, right? And the stock market that same year is up 12%. Did you get wealthier? No. Understand me, people, please. You got to listen really close to this. The stock market is a promise of what? When you cash out. The item on the left. When you put an investment in the stock market, it's a promise for what in the future? The picture on the left, that's your prize. When you buy Tesla, or you buy Nvidia, or you buy Apple stock, or you buy whatever stock, right? Whatever. When you buy that, it is a whoa. What the heck happened? There it is. It is a promise for what in the future? Dollars. The picture, let me get back to here. The picture on the left is your promise. Now, if that picture, if what you're holding, which is a promise for dollars in the future, if what you're holding has gone up by 12%, yay, my investment worked. But what you're promised has gone down by 12%, you feel wealthy, but you haven't gained shit. Tell me you understand this. It's all smoke screen. It's a farce. It's a fake. It's a fugazi. Tell me you understand. Does anybody understand what I just explained? You got it? Nobody's looking at the picture on the left. They're only looking at the thing that they invested in. Oh, well, my house is up, my house is up 40%. Yeah, but the monetary debasement is 40% over that 3-year period. You haven't gained anything. So the first theft is what you see on the left. Printing money debases yours. Every new dollar that comes into existence makes the dollars that you are promised or the dollars that you hold worth less. So remember this, guys. This is the point I need you to remember. If you put it in the stock market, it is a future promise for the picture on the left. But if the picture on the left is declining, you're not winning. Now, if your investment is rising faster than the decline, that's better, but it's still theft. Something's robbing the rise of your asset. Something's taking it away. It's the hidden theft of monetary debasement, money printing. Theft number one. Theft number two, fees. Fees, guys. Write that down. Theft number one, monetary debasement. Theft number two, fees. All right, let's go over fees. Okay. I have a $1,000 purchase. All right. I speak so much with my hands, my watch thinks I'm running. So it automatically starts calculating my run. I'm like, I'm not running, dude. I'm talking. All right. Anyway, so check this out. I buy something for $1,000 without my credit card. Boom. All right. I pay 1.5%, 2%. Or let's say I don't pay that. The merchant pays 2.5%, 3%, maybe 1.5% to 3%, depending upon the merchant, right? So that fee clipped the $1,000. Okay. That person takes the remainder, that company which received the 1,000 minus the 1.3, takes that amount, purchases something, and that person pays 1.2 to 3. And then the next purchase 1.2 to 3. After this same money has moved from person to company to person to purchase this, to purchase that, to purchase that, all the fees of 1% to 3% clipped every single time make that money just worth nothing. 1% to 3%, how many times does it take to eat away at the whole amount? Not that many. Do you follow what I'm saying? That's the evaporation of wealth through fees. Somebody is taking 1% to 3% every single transaction until the amount of money you started with is zero. They stole everything through fees, all of it. This is insane. When you lift the curtain, you say, wait, this is ours? This is wealth? I spent my life for this and now it's nothing. So it's nothing. It's being made nothing by more dollars being printed. That's the picture on the left. Now add on top of that 1% to 3% take every single time you use it. Every single time this $1,000 is being used, 1.3%. The next person uses it, 1.3%. 1.3%, 1.3%, 1.3%, 1.3%, 1.3%, 1.3%. Now it's nothing. Now go start again. It's crazy. It's stealing the value through fees. You don't get a fee. Okay. Crazy, right? Okay. So what are the two thefts? Remember what we said? Money debasement. If your stock went up 12%, if the stock market went up 12%, but the debasement of what you're promised, the dollar has dropped, the purchasing power dropped by 12%, you're not wealthy at all. You haven't gained a single thing. Now, that's monetary debasement, theft number one. Theft number two, fees. Clip a fee every single time the money's passed until you have nothing. Sucking the wealth. Two ways, but there's a third way. Taxes. Add tax on top of it. And you are way behind the 8 ball, buddy. Way behind. Someone socks away $100,000 in a bond that pays 5%. This bond pays 5% annually. But I have to pay taxes on the 5%. So let's say that's a net 3%. So let's say I'm really making 3% because the 5% needs to be taxed. And now I'm at 3%, but the monetary debasement's at 12%. I'm behind the 8 ball by 8 point something percent. I'm losing 8% of my life. I'm losing 8% of my value. I feel wealthier because the money I put into the bond, I'm getting more back. But remember, a bond is a promise in the future for that picture on the left. The picture, when you get the money at the end of the bond, the money is lower. That's the trick. Yeah, but Oliver, I put 100,000 in and I got like 110,000 back. Yeah, but the dollars are down more than 10,000. You lost, buddy. You lost. The value of the dollar is down 18,000, but you got 10,000. You feel richer because the numbers are the same. But Oliver, I put 100,000 in and got 110 out because the numbers didn't change. But in reality, the power behind the numbers change. So the 100, the value behind the number dropped 18,000. So your 100,000 has lost 18,000 in purchasing power. You gain 10,000. So you're net -8, but you feel richer because you got back more numbers that an artist drew, but you didn't get back the same value. The value you're always going to get back. Look at the left. I'm going to make myself small again. Look at the picture on the left. This is what you're giving your life for. A failing project. This is not the picture of success, my dear people. This is not the picture of success. This is not what, if I put this in front of a 12-year-old kid and said, listen, give your life to me for that, they wouldn't do it. But this is what all of you are doing. You're giving your life for that. But there is an escape, and that is Bitcoin. Because, guys, Bitcoin trounces all three thefts. Do you understand? It's the only thing on planet Earth that kills all three. It outpaces monetary debasement. It outpaces fees. It outpaces taxes. It damn outright eliminates monetary debasement. You can't debase Bitcoin. Now you remove one thief. If it is something you don't sell, and you know, most of you know that's my message. Don't sell this, man. Don't sell your freedom. Accumulate your freedom. Sell everything else. Sell Tesla for dollars. And whatever you don't need, put into Bitcoin and keep it there. Sell NVIDIA for dollars. Whatever you don't need, put it in Bitcoin and keep it there. Build your escape. That's your escape. Build your freedom. Do you understand? You won. What the heck? Where's mine? You won with you won. Oh, you bought this stock and it doubled. Take profits on that. Sell that. Get US dollars. All right. Use what you need right now. Whatever you don't, sock it into Bitcoin. Build up the escape. This Bitcoin's your escape. Build it up. Build up your escape. At a certain point, if you don't ever let it go, it will get built up to the place where it frees you from all the thieves stealing from you. It takes you to the land of wealth. But if you treat it like another stock, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. I promise you. If you treat it like a bond, if you treat it like a house, Selling for if you sell Bitcoin, remember, you're selling it for the picture on the left. You're right back to the slavery system. You still don't get it. You're going back to the left when Bitcoin frees you from the left? Really? I haven't done my job if you do that. But Oliver, what am I going to do? What am I going to live off of? Live off of the junk pieces of paper that you work for. Live off of that. I am saying don't put everything into Bitcoin. Put what you don't need today into Bitcoin. Live off of what you need. All of you have stuff you don't need. All of you have excess. All of you. If you are listening to me right now, all of you have excess. I know you do. All of you. You all have excess, no excuses. You all buy junk that you don't care about 6 months from now. All of you. And that should be going into Bitcoin. All of your excess should be going into Bitcoin. And it should never come out. Because remember, if you come out, you're going back to the left. That's what you're going back to. You should be, right? You should be going to this. Let's do it. This is what you should be going to. Let me show you. Are you picking up what I'm laying down? That's what you should be going to. You shouldn't be, oh, well, Oliver, when do I sell this and go back to my prison cell? When do I go back? I know I'm free now, but when do I go back to being a slave again? When do I sell my freedom, Oliver? When do I take profits on freedom, Oliver? I mean, freedom's been good, but when do I stop being free again? That's how you sound to me. Crazy, right? I like this one. What about the fees? What about the fees of buying and selling Bitcoin? They're insignificant. They're insignificant. Bitcoin has a CAGR of 213% a year. Now this fluctuates, but over time, that's the CAGR. That's the 213% a year. You can't take an asset that is the best performing asset on planet Earth in all recorded history and start majoring in the minor fees to buy it. All right? You're just going to have to ignore that. There's no fee. Remember, I told you that Bitcoin conquers fees. So Bitcoin conquers fees. Whereas that money doesn't, after a certain circular thing, it does not conquer fees. It chops away at the value. But fees don't chop away at Bitcoin. All right? And fees are relatively insignificant at this particular point. We're not talking about getting something free in life. You've got to put in work and you've got to pay. That's just the order of the universe, right? But we're just talking about what are the things that we invest our life into that cannot be stolen or taken or confiscated or whittled away, that no one can play games with it, and that is Bitcoin. All right? That is Bitcoin. All right. Just when you don't know just when you don't own enough Bitcoin. That's right. Stack harder. Absolutely. All right. I like this question here. What would be necessary for Oliver to sell his Bitcoins? Or why have them so long if you have money? Sorry for this stupid question, sir. No, it's not a stupid question. Listen, guys, I don't want to turn this session into, give me a second here. I don't want to turn this session into, I don't want to turn this session, guys, into a talk about this specifically. I've done this before. You can go on the channel, my Bitcoin channel, and search for the topic that deals with this. But within the next 2 years, guys, every financial organization on planet Earth will be rolling out a freaking red carpet with champagne bottles at the end of it, enticing you, come this way. You're a Bitcoiner? Come this way. Please come this way. Don't go down that. I know there's other red carpets you can walk down, but come walk down my red carpet. I've got something really special for you. Every country in the world will say, come live here. I'm going to remove taxes for 10 years if you're a Bitcoiner. Come here. Every financial organization is going to say, no, come here. We would like to help you with your Bitcoin. If there's anything in life that you want, please, we can get it for you. You are going to be the new elite. This is not 20 years from now. This is like 2, maximum 4 years from now. You will never have to sell your Bitcoin. You will never have to get rid of it. And you can get anything on planet Earth you want. Mark my words, it's happening. It's happening as I speak. You can't own the hardest asset on planet Earth, the hardest money that has ever existed in the human existence. The most valuable thing on planet Earth, which will be, I believe, next cycle. And the scarcest item on Earth, you can't be an owner of that and get nothing. That doesn't even freaking make sense. The people who have the best performing thing the world has ever seen, the hardest money the world has ever seen, the scarcest asset the world has ever seen, the most valuable thing on planet Earth. And you're like, but Oliver, what am I going to do with it? Dude, man, they're going to be throwing everything, everything, including the kitchen sink at you, just to get you to deal with them. You will not have to worry about, well, how do I actualize the value? That's almost at this particular point, not being smart or not just giving yourself a chance to think about it. Do you think that the owners of the Mona Lisa need to worry about anything? What about the owners of some rare piece of property, the Empire State Building? You think they need to worry about anything? They don't sell, but they live forever almost. Some people say, well, Oliver, they get rents or whatever. Listen, dude, there's pieces of property that don't generate diddly, and families have been living off of that piece of property for decades, acres and acres of just open land, living off of it for generation after generation. Not a single person in the whole family works. We're talking about the most pristine asset on planet Earth because it trades 24 hours a day. It is never sick at sea, never down for a millisecond. It is not controlled by any human being, organization, institution, or nation state. No one can steal it from you. No one can confiscate it from you. No one can debase it. No one can inflate it away, and no one can fee it away. You have the most special thing human beings have ever had access to. Don't fuck it up. It is no longer the stock market. We went over that. That's just a promise for the picture on the left. It's no longer real estate. Ultimately, real estate will always have a utilitarian value, but as a store to build your wealth in the future, that's going away. I'm telling you, it's in a downtrend. It's been in a downtrend since my parents. And getting a good job, that's gone. You can get all the good jobs you want. Jobs are not leading you to wealth like they used to. So good jobs are out. Good education doesn't matter. That is zero guarantee for wealth today. Jobs are out. Education's out. Using homes and property to build wealth, that is in a downtrend. Equities has been where it is, and now we're starting the downtrend. The problem with all of those things is that they are a future promise for dollars. And as you're waiting for your asset to go up, at the same time, the dollar that you're promised in the future for this asset is going down. So you're making nothing. And most of you are behind the 8 ball and you don't even know it. Wealth is just a mirage. It's a fake. It's a phony. It's a fugazi for the majority of people. And if you are the patsy in this game, if you are the one being played and you don't know you're being played, that's the worst position of all. And that's the majority of the position that people find themselves in. They're being taken. They're being took. They're being bamboozled. They're being whacked. And they don't even know. All they know is that it says I'm doing good, but I don't feel like I'm doing good. But I guess this is the way it's supposed to be. Not me, buddy. Not me. Not me. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Thank you for that plug there. I like that. So guys, there you have it. I just wanted to quickly talk to you about this. It started, I couldn't even sleep last night. It was just bearing on my mind, this topic, that wealth, this game of wealth, making the stock market be at or near all-time highs right at the same time as US elections, because you're being played. Meanwhile, the money printer is going burr. How do we know the money printer is going burr? Look at the debt. Look at the debt. Check this out. Look at the debt. Let me show you. This is something I've done for my traders, guys. You don't get this, but look. Look at this picture, right? You see this picture? Flip it upside down, and that's the money you're working for. So this is one way to look at it. Okay? This is the picture of money printing. Right there. But to understand how this affects you is flip it upside down. Now it's your future. It's your money that you're working for. That's what it's doing. It's flipped upside down. And the only thing that beats this is equities. Is equities, is Bitcoin. Want me to show it to you? I'll show it to you and then I'll leave you alone. All right. So if I were to take this, let's go here. Let's do like 5 months, right? So we take the whole history of Bitcoin and we price this. We price the S&P. So I want you to look at the S&P 500, guys, right? So look at the S&P 500. That's a very impressive picture, is it not? Isn't that impressive? Wow, you guys are getting wealthy. Look at that. Look at how wealthy you are. Do you see how wealthy you're getting? You feel wealthy when you look at that. But that's the S&P priced in dollars that you work for. What if you priced it in what you really want to work for? Bitcoin. Let's price it against Bitcoin and let's see what it does. SPX, I'll show it to you. Watch this. SPX / SATS USD. That's what that's a symbol. Uh-oh. Oliver, wait a minute. What happened to my wealth? I felt, oh my God, Oliver, don't show me this. Oliver, don't show me. I don't want to see this picture. I felt good with the first picture. This makes me feel like a loser. Switch it back, Oliver, switch it back. This is what you're really experiencing, people. Do you understand? By having your dollars in the stock market instead of Bitcoin, that's your experience. But you feel the other experience. You feel it the other way because it's priced in the item that's going down. Remember what the item is that's going down? Or did you forget? This is the item going down. Let me show it to you. So because it's priced in this weak ass thing on the left, you see, your stock market is priced in the item on the left. The item on the left gives you the false notion that it's rising. But if you price it against something real, if you price the S&P against something real like Bitcoin, this is what that performance looks like in real life. When you lift the curtain and you realize Oz is this little old bald head, overweight, fat dude that was painting a glorious picture of wealth when you're getting poorer. Now, I didn't make this chart up. You can do it yourself. All right? You can do it yourself. Oliver, can we switch it back? I feel better. I feel better with the first one. Some people don't even want to be waking up. You understand what I'm saying? They don't. They want to stay right here. They want to stay right there. Boom. Oliver, no, just keep me right here, bro. Keep me right here, man. Don't show me Bitcoin. Don't show me this against Bitcoin. I don't want to see it. I just want to feel this, bro. All right. All-time new highs. Look, all-time new highs. Look at this, guys. All-time new highs. How crazy is that? All-time new highs. Crazy, right? Got the wrong one. All-time new highs. Meanwhile, if you really look at the truth, SPX measured in sats You're near all-time new lows. That's the trick. That reveals the lie. Crazy, right? But Oliver, what about gold? I'm a gold bug, Oliver. What about gold? Well, gold is better. I like gold. I was a gold bug most of my life, but it's the senior citizen of the bunch. It's 6,000 years old, guys. Come on. You don't bet on a senior citizen basketball player. You bet on the new 15-year-old, 14, 15-year-old Michael Jordan, not the 95-year-old player who played a long time ago, right? It's not the future, man. All right. Gold, look, all-time new highs. Go, guys. Why am I? This is not what I want. Let's see if I can get the longer one. Yeah. Is this it? Can I get the longer one? No, that's wrong. Let me get the right one here, guys. I want to get that long time one. Commodity. Is it this one? Yeah, there's the one. All-time new highs. Look at that. I'm winning. I'm winning with gold. Oh, really? You're winning? Really? Seriously? You're winning? Okay, let's see if you're really winning. Let's compare this. You're winning against the dollar for sure, but are you winning against the real money, Bitcoin? Let's see. Gold / sats USD. Nope. You are not. You are not winning. I wish I could get the other. Can I get this? Here we go. There we go. And look at, isn't that beautiful, guys? Isn't that crazy? Take a look at this. That's when Bitcoin was born, that arrow right there. Bitcoin was born right there. That's when it gained its first price. And look at how it's been destroying gold. This is the picture of what you're really experiencing in truth when you lift the curtain and you're not seeing the false picture. You're seeing the real picture of what your life is experienced holding gold instead of Bitcoin. All right. Now, some things have held up pretty well. Oliver, what about Tesla? Tesla's one of the best performing stocks in history. Okay, I'm a Tesla owner as well. I get it. Tesla is amazing. It's freaking amazing, right? Well, let's see. Tesla and Bitcoin. Not so much. But Oliver, 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 Oliver. What about NVIDIA? Okay, we can take a look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA's done well. I've been an NVIDIA holder since 2010, guys. 2010. Powerful. Whoo! Look at that thing. I bought NVIDIA at a price of at a pre-split adjusted price of $9.50. I would say that comes out to about $1 something after incorporating all splits. So very, very big winner for me. But how does it compare against Bitcoin? When you look, this reveals the truth, guys. Oh, I did the wrong symbol. Sorry. NVIDIA, SATS, USD, boom. and not so much. Now, in all honesty, over the last few years, it's been stable. That's very impressive against Bitcoin. But still, over time, no. Nah. So, guys, what I hope that you see here, right, is the need to do what I did. I don't get anything from you buying Bitcoin. I'm just sharing with you what I did. And it's had a profound effect on my life. There's no question about it over the past 5 years. There's no question about it. But what I did is I have to mine dollars, but dollars are no longer the promise. So when I go into a stock, I know I have to flip it for dollars, but I no longer want to keep the thing on the left. I need to quickly, I know I'm going to receive the item on the left. I have to quickly flip it back to this item, right? I got to quickly flip it back to this. You understand? That's what I got to get it to. That's the thing that's crushing everything. And I got to keep it there. But Oliver, what about the declines in Bitcoin? They're scary. They're scary, Oliver. It's volatile. They're scary. What about that? I'm scared. Dude, what you really should be scared of is this. What are you talking about? That's scary. That you have to give your life, your time, your effort, your kids that are born, just because you have birthed another slave. They, by no choice, have to go work for that failing project. That's scary. The thing that's beating them all, that's not freaking scary. Oliver, it's scary. All right, guys. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. I want to thank you guys. Small little crowd here, but I guess it's intimate. Small little crowd here. All right. 400 of you. Thank you for showing up impromptu like this. Sorry I couldn't give you any advance notice, but like I said, this topic kept me up. I wanted to get it out to you. Please share this with someone who might need this message. All right. Someone who thinks that they're wealthy because I have 2 houses. They've gone up this amount. You know, show them this. Send this link to them. Make them try to help them understand that it's time to lift the curtain and see Oz is not what he is. Wealth is fake today unless you're storing in Bitcoin. All right, guys. I'm gonna go grab something to eat right now. Ciao for now. Love you to death. Boom. Boom. All right, ciao. My name is Oliver Velez, and I am your 13%er Bitcoiner. Be safe out there, and until next time. Boom.